Hello, everyone. Welcome back. My name is Ben Jacobson. I am a digital marketing strategist here at Page One Power, and we're back with another episode of SEO from Home. And today we're back with the founder and head of strategy at Assisted Reach, Cody West. And today we're going to be talking about using business intelligence for SEO. So for those of you who have not joined us before for SEO from Home, essentially this is our ongoing series. Basically, since we changed our work environments, we're all working remotely, and we're doing this to keep the SEO community connected. We're sitting down with industry experts. We're talking about a variety of different topics inside of SEO. And our goal is to hope to provide you guys with some actionable information to help improve your SEO knowledge. So if you guys want to check out any of those previous episodes, you can always check those out. They're on our YouTube. You can also see them on our website at pageonepower.com in the blog section. That being said, also one last thing before we get started. Previously, over the years, we've had a tradition at Page One Power of kind of doing like an end of summer savings event. And I know that we're kind of in strange times, but we wanted to try to continue that just as our tradition. So we're going to go ahead and get that started. And basically what that is, it's 10% off for the first 6 months of your campaign if you guys sign up by the 30th of September. So if you guys are interested in that, all you got to do, I'm going to pop up this poll real quick. If you guys are interested, then do a yes or no there. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and get jumped into this here. If you guys have questions during our presentation today, we are going to have a Q&A session towards the end if you have any questions that are kind of lagging behind. But also, if you have a question about what we're talking about in the moment, if you notice at the bottom, there's a Q&A box. Go ahead and pop that, and you guys can pop their question in there, and we'll do our best to answer that as we can. We're also going to be live tweeting today, so if you guys want to participate on Twitter or have a question after the fact, you can always tweet at us at Page One Power or at Cody West SEO. Be sure to use the hashtag SEO from home. So, all of that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. Cody, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us about what we're going to be doing today.
Yeah, super excited. So we're going to be talking about utilizing business intelligence in SEO and link building. And we're going to specifically be going over like an end-to-end walkthrough of how business intelligence is applied to link building to essentially generate like a return on investment for link building. So yeah, with that, I guess I'll share my screen and we'll hop into it. Can you see my screen? Everything look good?
Yeah, looks great.
All right, perfect. All right, so just real quick, who am I? So I'm the founder and head of strategy at Assisted Reach. We're a business intelligence focused SEO and content marketing agency. I'm also the owner at linkintelligence.io, which is a backlink analysis reporting SaaS. We're gonna be launching in about a month. Also the previous senior SEO and UX analyst at DriveTime. And I enjoy building data products and automations, drinking cold brew, and doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai. So today, like I said, we're going to be talking about just what business intelligence is, and I think just some misconceptions that I'd like to point out before we kind of jump into the in-depth walkthrough of applying BI to link building. So with that, we'll hop into it. So if you were to look up like a formal definition of business intelligence, it would be BI's leverages software and services to transform data into actionable insights that inform an organization's strategic and tactical business decisions. So like what that means is there's a lot of data, especially as we as SEOs, if you look at all these screenshots of logos, we have like crawling tools like Ahrefs and Screaming Frog and Sitebulb and Deep Crawl, link databases like Majestic and Ahrefs. We have like even marketing attribution, like event firing software like Snowplow Visible, Google Analytics, Adobe Analytics. We have this plethora of data that can help us make better decisions. And so that's essentially what business intelligence provides, is that framework for getting the most out of the data. So at its core, it provides decision makers with quantitative measurements that help improve decision making. So two misconceptions about analytics, data, business intelligence, all those terms you can kind of think of as synonymous. So the first one is something can't be measured, something is immeasurable. So in my opinion, when someone says, oh, we can't measure that, that's impossible to measure, it's a sort of a cop-out. So there's a great book called How to Measure Anything by Douglas Hubbard. And in the book, he says, quote, anything can be measured. If something can be observed in any way at all, it lends itself to some type of measurement method. No matter how fuzzy the measurement is, it's still a measurement if it tells you more than you knew before. And those very things most likely to be seen as immeasurable are virtually always solved by relatively simple measurement methods. So I would challenge pretty much anyone to come up with something that can't be measured in some way. And so that kind of leads us into the second one. Misconception 2, X measurement isn't perfect, so it's not useful. And so like in any sort of work, especially SEO, I think it's incorrect to think that measurement will allow you to achieve some unattainable standard of certainty. There's always going to be some degree of uncertainty in any single business decision that you're going to be making. And using BI or data and analytics measurement, using that is simply a means of reducing that uncertainty quantitatively, so you're making more informed decisions. So if we like look at an example related to the SEO world, like a lot of people will say, oh, you can't use Ahrefs backlink data because their link index is incomplete. So even though, let's say, they're only crawling maybe 30% of the links on average of a website, it's not to say that a sample is not useful, right? Like in statistics, a sample up to a certain point is predictive of the population. So saying that just because their link index is incomplete, and so it's not perfect, it's not useful, I would completely disagree with that. So with those two misconceptions out of the way, let's hop into it. So when we start trying to apply data and business intelligence to a problem, you always want to start with questions. And so in this case, we're applying this to link building. So we're going to start with some of the biggest questions that people have when it comes to link building. Why do you need to be building links? So if you're a head of SEO and you're trying to explain to like one of your senior leaders why you need to be building links, this is a question that they're going to be asking you. So it's good to have a data-driven answer to answer it. How many links do we need to build? And then how much is that going to cost? So when it comes to understanding how to utilize data to help you make better decisions, context is everything. And luckily, as an SEO, you understand the context of link building in SEO, right? So you understand how PageRank works, how link equity flows through a site, what makes one link better than the other, what role anchor text plays in the entire picture. Understanding all those pieces of context to the questions you're asking are extremely important, because that leads you to developing an analysis that actually answers those questions correctly. So just like real quick, one of the big things that you're going to see in this analysis that we're going to be walking through is that I split it up in between a domain level versus page level analysis. And the reason for that has everything to do with domain authority. So in SEO, we SEOs have made up domain authority, right? It's not a real descriptive statistic that Google uses in its algorithm. It's simply like a method for us to understand how much link equity a website has in total. So the way PageRank works is there's external links and internal links that are flowing in and out of a site. So let's say you're a small e-commerce company and you're ranking number 5 for a product page. Let's say you have 10 links to that page. If you're Amazon, let's say Amazon's ranking number 1. So you're wondering, all right, why I have 10 links, why am I not ranking above Amazon? And the reason for that has everything to do with domain authority, but what that really is link equity flowing through internal links in the site. And that's essentially PageRank. So when we break up our analysis, we want to understand how much quote unquote domain authority do we need to build through links, and then how many links do we actually need to build to specific pages. So those are two different types of analyses that we're going to want to answer before we can come up with answers to those 2 questions, or those 3 questions that I had mentioned earlier. So we're going to be going through a case study It's going to be for the company Scribe Media. The website is scribewriting.com. And Scribe is essentially a publishing company, so they create a lot of content around books and book marketing and stuff like that. So question one is, why do we need to be building links? And so the simple answer is because your competitors are. But without data, this is really subjective and could be written off as opinion. With data, though, you can analyze how many links your top competitors are building and the velocity at which they're being built at. You can understand the level of authority and topical relevance you need to be targeting with your links, and that's like a quality thing. Then you can also analyze the time and cost it will take to catch up and close the domain authority gap between you and your competitors. So we're gonna actually now hop into a report. So I'm gonna refresh this real quick. And then we're gonna go to the domain level analysis. And so what this is showing here is Scribe Writing and 8 of Scribe's competitors and the referring domains that they've built over time. So to make this a little bit easier to look at, I'm going to filter for just Scribe and their 2 biggest competitors, which is Kindlepreneur and selfpublishingschool.com. All right, so if we just look at these raw numbers, what you can see is Kindlepreneur has around 1,400 referring domains, Self-Publishing School has around 1,300, and then Scribe has around 850. And so this is great. It at least shows the total in terms of Ahrefs link index that all these sites have in terms of referring domains, but there's a piece of context missing here, and the context that's missing is the quality of all of these links. So if we flip back here, we use a quality flag. Actually, before I get into that, the other thing to mention is that if you want to build these visualizations, you can do all of this with Ahrefs and Majestic data. So what a quality flag is basically a way of filtering out low quality links that you determine you wouldn't want to actually build. So the quality flag that we have here set is an Ahrefs domain rating greater than 20, organic traffic to the domain greater than 1,000 visits per month. The links are follow, so we're excluding no follow links, and that's more of a, you can kind of go either way there. It's a little bit up to you. And then we have a blacklist. So there's various sites like the one that comes to mind for me is like prlog.ru, which is a Russian scraper site. Pretty much every website you're gonna run into and look at the links for will have that link. So we remove a lot of those links as well. So if we come back here and then we filter for the quality flag, if you watch these numbers, you'll notice that they decrease significantly. So this 1,300 number actually dropped to 284. Kindlepreneur is now only 248, and then Scribe's at 231. So the actual gap between these links is a lot lower, but now we're looking at links that we would actually want to build. And what we found, we've run a ton of these types of reports at this point, is that usually it's only 10 to 20% of the links on a page are quality links that you would actually want to build. Sorry, not a page, a domain. There's only 10 to 20% of links to a domain that you would actually want to build. And so this quality flag provides like an automated means of filtering those links out, so you do not include them in your analysis. So then, like, let's say your senior leader is asking you, hey, why do we need to be building links? You show them this chart, you show them your 2 top closest competitors, or maybe 4, and you say, hey, look, this is how many links these competitors have. You can even cross-reference this with traffic, and it's a good visual to understand, all right, well, this is something that we need to be investing in as well. So then the natural question to follow that is, how many links do we need to build? So using a backlink gap analysis accompanied with the quality flag that we just developed, you can provide a number presented objectively that answers this question. It's definitely not perfect, but remember, the backlink data is incomplete in the first place, but this is helping us reduce uncertainty in our decision, and it's better than doing nothing at all. So if we come back to this backlink gap analysis section here, what this is showing so it zeroes out all the links that Scribe has and then deducts them from the links that Self-Publishing School and Kindlepreneur have. So in this case, this 53 means that Self-Publishing School has 53 more links than Scribe total. In the 80 to 89 domain rating bucket, Self-Publishing School has 17 more links than Scribe. But in the 90 to 100 domain rating bucket, Scribe actually has 8 more links than Self-Publishing School. And so the reason we break this down, this backlink gap by domain rating bucket, is because it allows us to get a sense of the strength of the domains that we're going to need to be building links. So when we go to prospect, we have an idea of the number of counts we need for prospecting. So in this case, how many links do we need to build? We'll just take the max here. 53 is probably a good number. So in that case, I'll plug that in here, and I'll show you kind of how these formulas are working on the back end. So the next piece to this is why is link velocity. So in this case, like if we were to go build 53 links over the next 6 months, what we're not accounting for is the links that our competitors are also going to be building over those next 6 months. And so if their link velocity is higher than the link velocity that we're building links at, then we're going to be fighting an uphill battle. So it's important to get a sense of how much your competitors are investing into link building and how many links they're actually building. So to answer that question, we have the average links per month over the last 12 months and the median links per month over the last 12 months. So we're filtering out all the lower quality links, and then we're taking the average and the median because we want to account for outliers. So the average obviously can be extremely skewed because of outliers. So let's say a site did some sort of digital PR and drove like 100 links to their website, but that was like a one-off thing and they only did that one time. That if you took that and averaged it over 12 months would highly skew what the average is. So that's why we take a median as well. And so because the average and medians here are very close, we know that we're not dealing with too many outliers. So then what I like to do is take whatever the max here is. So it's 18 for Self-Publishing School, and then subtract your link velocity. So 18 minus 9 is 9 links. And then if we were to do that for the median too, 17 minus 11 is 6 links, and then just take the max there. So we'll just say that the link velocity is 9. And then so once you find out what the link velocity is, you can use this formula to determine how many links you need to build over a given period of time. So let's say in this case, we want to close the link gap in 12 months. We would plug in 53 links right here, and then add the link velocity times those 12 months to get the total number of links we need to build. So now we know we need to build 161 links. So the next question is, how much is link building going to cost? All right, we know we need to build 161 links. What's that going to cost us? So cost is extremely important because this is essentially half the ROI equation. If you have revenue from organic traffic, then you can back out your costs and essentially get to an ROI number. So if you work with an agency or you do link building in-house, what you should be able to do is calculate what your average cost per link is, and that just add up the total number of the total number of expenses that you invest into link building, divide that by the number of total links that you've built, and that's how you get your average cost per link. And so generally what we see, agencies will typically provide links between the $300 to $500 range. So we'll just take the middle of that and say $400. And then so to get that total investment, all you have to do is take the total links needed over 12 months multiplied by that cost per link. So in this case, 161 links times $400 will end up with $64,400 over the next 12 months in backlinks. So now that you know how many links you need to build, how much that's going to cost, and why you even need to be engaging in link building anyway, there's a few other questions that kind of naturally progress. So question 4 is, what pages do we build these links to? Question 5 is, how many links do we build to each page? So this is where the page level analysis comes into play. So diving into what pages should we build links to, I've got a few tips for this, for selecting these pages. The first one is the main keyword on the page has an Ahrefs keyword difficulty of greater than 25. So if we were to read what the definition of keyword difficulty is from Ahrefs, it's based on the number of referring domains to the top 10 ranking pages, organic search results only for a given keyword. And so you don't really want to be, like the term I've used or I've heard used for this is called black sheep. I think Matt Diggity is where I heard that from. But it's basically, you don't want to stand out in a SERP. So let's say everyone that's ranking in the top 10 have on average 2 backlinks. You don't want to be the site that comes in and builds 50 links to your page. It's a red flag, and the term for that is the black sheep. So you don't want to be the black sheep in the SERP. So generally pages with a low keyword difficulty don't have a ton of links to those pages. And so if you were to build a ton of links to your page, it's probably not the best idea. Again, there are of course exceptions, but as a general rule of thumb, that's something I would follow. So what we found is a keyword difficulty of 25 or greater is a pretty good starting point for a SERP that has a significant number of links in the top 10. So then you know, all right, we can build, of those 161 links that we decided we want to build, we can build a decent chunk of those to this page. The other few tips, linkable assets, obviously. So if you have like a really good data-driven piece that you've built for digital PR or something like that, obviously those are really good linkable assets, and you should definitely build links to those pages. And then also revenue driving pages, but only if those ranking URLs have links. So again, keep in mind Matt Diggity's black sheep, and you should be pretty safe there. So generally then what I recommend to start is pick 3 to 6 pages, find the main keyword for all those pages, and then make sure each SERP is a good candidate for link building. Once you do that and you have 3 to 6 pages, and the reason I recommend 3 to 6 is you're not going to really have your link building team go down and build links to 20 pages at a time. You're usually going to chunk it and do 3 to 6 at a time, or that's generally what we do. So that's why I recommend that. And then you pull the SERP for each keyword, extract the backlinks for each URL ranking in that SERP. And you can use Ahrefs to do all of this. And then question 5, how many links do we build to each page? So we're going to hop back over to the report to help us answer that question. So if we go to the page level analysis, you can see we have our 6 keywords loaded in here. We've got book cover design, book writing software, how to overcome writer's block, how to publish a book, how to write a book, and writing tips. So we'll look at book cover design first. Again, we're using our quality flag. So we're only looking at links that we deem as quality and that we would actually want to be building. And then what we're doing is we're breaking up these URLs. So this is the root. I actually would probably recommend putting the actual ranking URL here. It's more of just like a preference thing so you can see URL structure. But then you want to pull page type and page category for each of those URLs. So all of these are inner pages. The top 3 are lead gen pages. The 4, 6, and 7 are blog posts. Then we got another lead gen page and a blog post. And then you want to break up the links going to each one of these URLs by domain rating bucket. So that's what you can see here. And then on the right, you'll see the total number of links that all of these pages have. And then what you're going to want to do is take the average and the median of each domain rating column. So the average of this entire column here is 2, and the median here is 2. The average here in this 50 to 59 bucket is 7, and then the median is 6. And then what we do is we take the max between the average and the median. So in this case, the max between 6 and 7 is 7. The max between 3 and 4 is 4. And so what this does is it gives you a max of the average and median for this SERP. So in this case, 24 links is the average / median of the SERP. So then what you want to do is you can see Scribe here, they're ranking number 6 and they only have 2 links. And it's in the 70 to 79 bucket. So either those are really good links, or Scribe has some other favorable features that Google is ranking without having to have a ton of links. So then what you do is you take the total number of links for the site that you're analyzing and subtracting that from this max. So you'll see all the numbers here are the exact same between these 2 columns, except the 70 to 79 bucket. And so 2 gets subtracted from 5 here. So you end up with 22 links. And then very similar to the domain level side of things, we want to also look at link velocity. Rather than looking at 12 months, we're going to look at 3 months. And then we're going to just kind of take whatever this average is here. So in this case, we'll say the link velocity is 2. So in this case, we'll say that we want to build 22 links with a link velocity of 2. And then let's say we want to build these links in 6 months. So then if we head back to this page, what you'll be able to, one more thing actually. So 22 links this is a good rule of thumb, but you should absolutely analyze the SERP as well. So in this case, Readsy is probably the only URL that we're going to be able to overtake just because of the content type. So if we had a lead gen page, then maybe we could break into the top 3. But because this is a blog post, we're probably shooting for position 4 here. And Readsy has 37 links. So maybe we want to up this to 30 links. It's kind of something that you have to do on a case-by-case basis. But what I find is using this framework is a really good first step to determine how many links you want to build to all of your pages. Use that as a starting point. And then as you start building links, start tweaking it as data starts coming in and as you start seeing your rankings change. So if we were to bring this all together, so we have a domain level analysis completed and we have a page level analysis completed. So what the domain level analysis showed us is that we're going to need to build a total number of links equal to 161. And then we did that page level analysis just for book cover design, but let's say we did it for all the other 5 keywords. And just to throw in some numbers, here's how many links we determined we were going to need to build over that time period. So 40 to book cover design, 20 to book writing software, 15 to how to overcome writer's block, 16 to how to publish a book, 30 to how to write a book, and 10 to writing tips. Then we're going to sum all those together and we get 131 links. And then we're going to just subtract the 161 from the 131, which gives us 30. So then we're going to either build the remaining 30 links to the pages above that may need more links. So an example, let's say we only had 22 for book cover design, but we decide after building 22 links that we need 30. Then we would build those remaining 30 links to that page. Or you can run the analysis again on a new set of keywords and figure out where to allocate the rest of these 30 links. And so, yeah, when it comes to link building, your strategy should dynamically change as your URLs respond to the links you're building. But often what we'll see is people don't know where to start and they just start link building. And that's not always the right thing to do, especially if you have let's say you have 3 years of link building you're gonna have to do before you start seeing a return. That's a really important piece of information to share with your senior leaders, or just maybe to know yourself, to be able to set accurate expectations. Or maybe link building isn't even an avenue that you want to invest in because it's going to take so long and you have such an uphill battle to fight. Or maybe you don't have budget. There's a lot of constraints that can get in the way there. So I think doing this type of analysis before you do any sort of investment is extremely important to help avoid risk. So the last step to this would be estimating ROI from link building. So the formula is just revenue from link building minus cost of link building over cost of link building. And we just solved the cost piece of that equation. And so finding the revenue takes quite a bit of effort and it'd be beyond the scope of this presentation. But if you're interested in learning more, I've got a blog post on it that you can check out that shows you how to run through it. So these are some other potential questions that you can ask about link building. If we have more time, I can absolutely show you how to answer these with data. I guess let me know if we have time, Ben, and then I can dig into these.
Yeah, we have as much time as you need to cover it. Yeah, whatever you'd like to go into is awesome.
Okay, cool. So yeah, what we just answered was like the really high level link building questions, and those mostly relate to just like whether or not this is an investment we're going to make, and I call those like business questions. The questions that we didn't really dive into is more of the tactical questions. So an example of that would be like, what anchor text distribution should I be targeting? What links do my competitors have that I do not have? What is the main topic of the links my competitors are landing? Et cetera, et cetera. So if you want to read some of these questions, you can check them out. So let's answer what links do my competitors have that I don't? What is the main topic of the links my competitors are landing? So if we want to figure out topic, if Majestic has a metric called topical trust flow, and this is essentially the topic of the domain. So in this visualization, what we do is we have all of the competitors across the top, and then we have all of the topical trust flows exported from Majestic here. And then we take the percentage and then the average percentage. So this is filtered by the most prevalent topic. So this makes perfect sense, right? Where Scribe is a publishing website that writes about books and writing, and the topical trust flow that Majestic is saying is the most prevalent of the links that are quality. Again, remember we're using this quality flag, are arts and writers resources. So that's extremely helpful in itself for just prospecting. Let's say you have a prospecting big list. All you have to do is append the Majestic trust flow or topical trust flow metric to it, and you'll be able to see which topics are like the top 3 are arts, writing resources, reference education, and arts literature. But then something we really like doing is this is a competitor backlink analysis. And so what this does is we pulled all of the backlinks from all of those 8 competitors that we were looking at, and we wanted to see what links overlap. And so in this case, writing.e, 7 out of the 8 competitors that we ran this analysis through have this writing.e link, but Scribe does not. So we have a flag here that's filtering out any links that Scribe doesn't have. So in this case, we're looking at, these are all links that we potentially would want to build to Scribe. So then if we take that piece of information that we just found via topical trust flow, and we find arts and writing resources, now we filter for that, and our list now is all blogs or websites that have that same topical trust flow. So this is a really, really good way of creating an initial seed list of really, really high quality sites that your competitors have, but you do not have. So there's a ton of other ways that you can use topical trust flow. I think its most useful use case is being able to apply it to big lists of prospects and pull out the websites that meet a certain topic criteria. So then if we hop into another one of these questions, what anchor text distribution should I be targeting? So in this case, we're going to anchor text you don't want to look at the domain level. You only want to look at that at the page level. So in this case, we'll look at the book cover design keyword. And so what we like doing is pulling all of the backlinks for all of the pages ranking in the top 10 for this keyword, and then classifying the anchor text. So we use URL, exact, other, seed, which is the exact. So the seed would be book cover design. Exact would have book cover design in it. Partial would have some sort of, would either have book, cover, or design in the anchor text. URL is just a URL, and then other is just any other generic anchor text like click here or this article, that sort of thing. So then what we like doing is comparing the anchor text distribution for this specific keyword of all of the competitors to what the competing website has. So this is extremely important so that you don't over optimize the anchor text with the links that you're building. So if you over optimize anchor text, you can get penalized and not be able to rank for that keyword. So generally what we like to do is look at what this distribution is. In this case, 35% is other, and we'll start building some of the maybe lower quality links that we're planning on building using non-exact or partial anchor text, and then start layering in partial, exact, and seed anchor text as really good link opportunities start presenting themselves. And I'm specifically talking guest posting here because you can control the anchor text. When it comes to just maybe skyscraper or resource page link building, that sort of thing, you're not going to be able to control it. So I would just keep a watch on this distribution so that you're not creating some unfavorable distribution for the page that you're trying to rank. Once you have the anchor text distribution, another good thing to track is the no follow distribution. So just what percentage of the links that you're building are follow versus no follow. Another really cool thing that you can do with anchor text is you can pull all of the anchor text into a visualization like this. So this, again, is all of the competitors that rank for this book cover design keyword, and then count the number of anchor text usage. So in this case, Canva has been used 24 times. But then if we start scrolling down, you can see a ton of other uses for this anchor text. And it's really cool to be able to look through this because it gives you context for the link. So let's say you're coming up with guest posting topic ideas. If you're able to like understand context, useful list of designers, for example, that's probably not what we were expecting when we were thinking of book cover design. But that's an example of context where the link would make sense. So you can scroll through this and get a good sense of that. The other thing I like looking at is the link type by anchor type. So across the top here, you've got the type of link and then the anchor type. So like, for example, let's say we're looking at guest posts. So you'll see a higher percentage of exact and partial and seed usage in guest posts. And that's because you can control the anchor text, right? But then if we're talking about like content-based links, this is more a blogger just randomly links out to you or something, you're going to see a lot more other links because obviously you're not controlling the anchor text, and more often than not, they're saying, hey, check out this article by this person, or referencing something specific in the article, and not using exact anchor text. So that's
the question that popped in there. I just wanted to pop through it.
Sure.
It looks like Andrew's asking if do you have a rough ideal anchor text distribution that you would recommend?
I'd say we don't like building more than 25% exact seed anchor text. That's just because of like our risk tolerance. That is not by any means scientific at all. So I would say use the data, do what the data says, but don't be too aggressive. Anchor text is one of those things that's fickle. And like I've said before, this is definitely not an exact science. Again, you're using a sample data set, being Ahrefs data. So this is more to give you a general idea of what the distribution should look like. You should also kind of use your best judgment. And for us internally, it's, hey, do not build more than 25% seed exact anchor text. So yeah, let's pop through maybe one more. So this is an example. This is a pretty interesting one for Scribe specifically. So Scribe Writing, they have a few pretty high profile founders. And because of that, those founders do a lot of PR and that sort of thing. So if we look at the homepage versus interpage link distribution, you'll see most of these sites that we're competing with have most of the links pointing to those inner pages. And again, we're filtering out, we're only looking at quality links. So what's interesting here is Scribe is like completely flipped, right? So it's 77% to the homepage and only 23% to the inner pages. If you were to dig into that, you would realize it's because Scribe is building a ton of links that are like PR style. So they're almost always getting linked back to the company's homepage rather than like a blog post or something similar to that. And then these competitors are mostly blogs with founders that aren't really high profile. And they're actively engaging in link building. So the links are going to more inner pages. So this is an extremely important piece of information to go to Scribe about, because it's like, hey, like your rankings are great. And you've got a solid link profile, but there's going to be a few pages that are super competitive that we're going to need to build links to exactly those pages. And that's essentially what this report told us, is like, hey, these are keywords that we're not ranking for that have a ton of search volume and are within the funnel that we want to be targeting. So let's go ahead and build links to these inner pages. So yeah, there's a ton of other questions, obviously, that you can ask about link building. This was kind of to hopefully get the juices flowing and use this sort of framework that I've applied to link building, but apply that to all different types of things that you run into in SEO. So maybe it's log file analysis or internal link analysis, or maybe it's just your technical audits. This level of questioning and then using data to answer questions and then asking more questions is the foundation of business intelligence. And I believe that it's definitely the best approach when it comes to making data-driven decisions that reduce uncertainty. So with that, thank you.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you, Cody. I was going to say, yeah, I really appreciate the approach that you are presenting here because, I mean, as we all know, like SEO is so much of, well, so-and-so said this, so therefore it must be rule of land. And clearly that's not always the case. So, yeah, really appreciate the approach as far as backing everything up with data. Real quick, you guys, if you have any other questions, be sure to pop those in. We're going to kind of be wrapping things up here. We're getting close to the top of the hour. I did want to say thank you, Cody, so much for coming out, or for, I guess, not, man, I'm used to saying that, but you know what? In reality, no one's coming out anymore these days. So thank you so much for being a part of this and being willing to pop in. Again, congrats on the awesome new cabin. It looks like you guys are enjoying it out there, and yeah, the internet's good. So what more do you need, right?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I had a ton of fun. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. We'll have to do it again, and enjoy the rest of your week, guys. Thanks again. See you, Cody.
So yeah.